This video is brought to you by BlueCert. BlueCert is a trusted provider for AI-related certifications designed to validate expertise in machine learning, data science, NLP, AI security, and more. You can go to bluecert.org to take a look at all of their offerings. You can explore the certifications. Here we have certifications on machine learning, AI healthcare, AI in finance, natural language processing, and many more. If I go to machine learning, you can see the different potential roles that are available for machine learning as developers and even different paths that are available. And this provides you with AI-focused specialization, flexible online exams, and also employer recognition. You can also check out some of the sample multiple choice questions on that category. If you're looking for certification for machine learning or AI related fields, check out bluecert.org. So now let's go ahead and get started with learning Python. All right. And as I mentioned earlier on, that there are so many different ways that, and so many different editors, so many different places where you can go and write Python. But I really like REPL or similar online playgrounds where you can simply write the code, press the run button, and you get the answer, which is displayed somewhere over here. And the reason for that is that when you're learning a programming language, you want kind of like the instant feedback. So if you're writing this in Visual Studio Code, you have to install Visual Studio Code, you have to go through all of that, which is fine. But I always like to try out, just play with the programming language in online editors. If I'm learning something new, like a programming language, I think that makes it fun, right? Because it's so easy to get started. Okay, so we're going to be learning about Python. And the first thing we want to learn about is data types. All right. The great thing about data types or learning data types is that it is for all the languages. So right now you're learning Python, but tomorrow you might start with Swift or Java or C#. These languages, they also have data types. So let's see what data types are. There are several data types that we have to familiarize ourselves with. One of them is string. So what is string? Well, string is basically a combination of, I'm just going to paste it from a different monitor over here, combination of alphanumeric characters. So think about all the things that are alphanumeric. Alphanumeric means that it can have alphabets, it can have, it can have alphabets and numbers and special characters. So all of those things. So something that comes to our mind is our address. Like if my address is 1200 Richmond Avenue, right? We have numbers over here, we have alphabets over here, we can also have like a special character like a comma over here, all of those things. Name, somebody's name. This is just, name is just alphabets. We can have different things like driver license numbers, like DP 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. So whenever we talk about string, we are talking about alphanumeric characters. So that's string. Let's move to the next one. We have integer. Integers are basically numbers, all right? And these are numbers without decimal. So basically we're talking about whole numbers. So we can talk about like, okay, it's going to be 34, 1, 2,200, whatever, whole numbers. Then we have float. Float is they are numbers with decimal. So anytime you are writing decimal like 5.23 or the value of pi, which is 3.142, anything that has a decimal is considered data. That data type is float. Then we have Boolean. Boolean is like yes or no, 1 or 0, true or false. So that's the only state in a Boolean, and it's kind of like in the name, Boolean, right? Binary state, two states. So String, we see it every, and I think one of the good things about learning programming, learning a programming language, is try to see in your real life where you see string. I mean, you see it everywhere. Your name is a string, your address is a string, right? And your driver license number, I think it contains alphabets and numbers, your passport number, right? Your social security number can also be a string because it contains dashes. Integers, numbers, just whole numbers that you use in your life. Your age can be an integer. Float, anything with a decimal can be a float. Boolean. Where do we use Boolean in real life? Can you think about any place where you use Boolean where it's only yes and no? Maybe take a look at your light, the light, the light bulb in your room. Is it on or is it off? Right? Boolean. It's not going to be in the middle or somewhere, right? It's going to be on or it's going to be off. So that is basically Boolean. And you can say yes and no, 1, 0, true and false, but in the end, it's a Boolean state. It can either be one or the other. There's no third category over there. So those are our basic data types that we have. And once again, just to mention it once again, is once you learn these data types, it's not like next day or next week you're learning like Java or C# and they're like completely different data types. They're going to be same data types over there also. All right. So that's the great thing about programming and programming languages in general is once you learn the data types in one programming language, actually once you learn one programming language, it just makes it easy for you to learn other programming languages because they're just so similar. All right? Their syntax might be different, meaning some of them require a semicolon at the end, some of them require something else at the end, but their syntax might be different, but the whole concept, the logic, and all those data types, conditions, and loops, all of them, all of the modern programming languages will have those things. All right. So that is the data types. Now, in the next lecture, we'll be looking at variables, how to define variables, and how to use variables. We're also going to see string concatenation and how does that work.